I'm Dr. Sue Morter from Morter Institute for Bioenergetics. I'm releasing a book March 19th, and it's called The Energy Codes, a 7-step system to awaken the spirit, heal your body, and live your best life. I want to share with you that the book is about building circuitry. What's that mean? Building circuitry means that we are revamping old wiring. Obviously, neurons that fire and wire together stay in patterns and habits, and they lead us to perceiving life from a certain perspective. We know this, and everyone is very interested in studying about the brain, and I make some very user-friendly pathways for people who don't understand about studying about the brain to be able to learn about such things in a very user-friendly, simple way. But I also want to speak to you about another system that actually runs your body and runs your nervous system and runs your life. There is an electromagnetic energy system that actually built the nervous system when you were developing as an embryo in the womb. That master system, this electromagnetic energy flow, builds the nervous system and is in charge of running your entire life. In fact, that invisible energy is the spirit energy that spirituality talks about. The scientific world speaks about it as electromagnetic energy flow, the biofield, vital force, innate intelligence. These types of descriptors are also used on this same bandwidth of energies that comprise the wholeness of your being. So what we're doing in the Energy Codes book is taking all that, putting it together, and codifying ways for you to learn how to work with that energy, turn it on so that you have more vital force, you turn on your ability to self-heal, you turn on your creative juices, and then I'm teaching you how to build pathways or energy circuits to sustain that energy flow in a certain fashion so that every aspect of your consciousness can come online and you can be powerful and loving, and you can manifest, and you can be wise, and you can be available, and you can be spiritual, and you can be practical, and you can recognize that you are a multidimensional being with lots and lots of talents and gifts that have never been able to express out into the world, all at the same time. That's the point. Because we live in a world where we feel that sometimes we can be kind and nice and loving and caring, and sometimes we have to be strong and powerful and assertive, and sometimes we feel creative, and other times we can't access that at all, seemingly. And I want people to know that they can have access to all of their own personal powers all of the time, so that they don't have to be either or, trying to selectively get through life in some kind of productive fashion. Rather, they are in a flow that is unfolding in its amazing way automatically, as we were meant to be living. We're supposed to have access to all of those attributes of our own all the time. Now, you might be thinking, well, I'm not really very creative, and so maybe that doesn't really apply to me. And I want to share with you that there is no one that this does not apply to. We are made of creative energy. We've just been compressed and it's been shoved into the background so much that we think that logic and following along with the systems that are out there in our world are just the way that we're supposed to get by. And if you feel that it's difficult sometimes for you to make ends meet or to feel abundant in some kind of way, I want you to understand that there is a reason for that. And it is not because you are unworthy or that you are inadequate in some way. It is simply because the circuitry hasn't been turned on for you to be able to perceive your abundance. Now, some of you might say, it's easier for me to give than to receive, and so consequently, I'm not very often heard or known or held in high esteem by others. People kind of use me as a doormat, or I'm not really able to feel like someone's got my back. And I want you to understand that that is not anything more than a circuitry issue. As we learn to build the energy circuitry and then enhance the nervous system's ability to perceive a greater sense of self and thereby create neurocircuitry to sustain our power in the world. As we develop our ability to do this, life changes. People start responding to you differently, even though you haven't told them what you're doing, when you start utilizing these principles and practices. Clients and students and patients of mine over the years constantly share with me while they're reporting on the things that are physically improving in their life, mentally and emotionally smoothing out in their life, creatively becoming enhanced in their life. They also report to me that their relationships are changing, that people at the workplace seem to just manage them differently, engage with them differently, respond to them differently, because they're finding a sense of self that they've never had before. When that sense of self is seated and grounded in the body, and we are embodying our true magnificence, the world changes. It's not that we become different people, it's that we awaken as the true individual that we were meant to be from the beginning. And as that occurs, all of the fear-based interactions and relationships and choices that we have made, they start to just rearrange. It is graceful and integrated. And so I want you to know that it isn't that your life is going to change overnight, and then what do I do? Because perhaps you've become dependent on or feel that you're dependent on your current circumstances as they are, and you're not really ready for things to just be, yanked out from under you. Well, I assure you that this work is about integration. So too much, too fast, too quick doesn't happen, because this is about you integrating yourself right up into your magnificence. And it happens one breath at a time, one day at a time, one life circumstance at a time, when you learn to work with the energy of your life rather than the story of your life. We become free, we become empowered, and the next thing you know, people are leaning in and asking you, what are you doing? Something's going on. I can see it in your eyes. I can feel it around you. Just by the way you say the same old things you've always said, there's something different coming through you. And that is the true you is coming through. And as that begins to happen, old patterns start to melt. Old attractions start to fade as you become enthusiastically inspired into actually dreaming again, into actually living the life that you are here to be living. I reference in the book this idea of the front side of the model of consciousness versus the back side of the model of consciousness. That back side of the model of consciousness is about you living in fear and feeling like there's nothing you can do because your circumstances are what they are. The front side of the model is you recognizing that you not only set all this up in motion so that you could awaken to your true magnificence, you're starting to learn to have the circuits in place to actually deliver, to walk out as that creator into your life. And it's a step-by-step process that allows you to learn how to do that in a non-threatening way so that you actually take your friends and your beloveds with you as you go on this new journey into your own life. Your life is meant to be unfolding magnificently, beautifully, and in your favor. Every single thing that is happening in your life is in your favor. And until we get out of our heads and learn to live from our core, true, essential self, it's really difficult to see it as such. So I look forward to sharing with you so many practices and principles inside of this book that are so user-friendly. Whether you have zero background in reading about science and energy and quantum reality and that kind of thing, or you're a student in that department, there is something in here that is going to allow a quantum flip to happen in your life. And all of that is walking you step by step, code by code through the book. So know that it is here for you. It is written for you so that you can have the life experience that you're intended to have. Go to drsuemorter.com/order the energy codes and get your copy of the book and begin changing your life one breath at a time today.